Well, first I'd like to know how much time I have. Because if I have 20 minutes to resolve a conflict, I'll go about it quite differently than if I have unlimited amount of time. Very often the conflicts that I'm involved in are very limited. I mentioned this morning in my group that I had a colleague working 6 months to get 2 tribes that were at war in Africa into a meeting with me, and after 6 months of work, hard work, they agreed to stay for about 5 hours. So I did things a lot different than I would if I had unlimited time. I worked with a brother, 2 brothers who were having a big, long conflict about who's going to inherit what of the father's wealth when he retired. He was about to retire. They had been in the courts and fights and so forth. And I had about 4 hours I was going to have with them. And so I did something quite a bit different then than I would have done if I had more time. So that's one thing I want to know, how much time I have. Another thing that's sometimes very important to me is, are the people carrying any weapons? And if so, I would really appreciate it if during the mediation they would be willing to leave the weapons outside. I just feel safer doing a mediation without weapons in the room. And this is serious. I was mediating between 2 street gangs in Los Angeles, California. They wouldn't agree to that. So I was more tense than I would be if I didn't see the guns and the knives and so on. So those are a couple things I'm interested in. What I'm usually not interested in is background. I don't want to know all about what's happened in the past and so forth. That's necessary if you're trying to be a legal mediator. I'm more interested in what's alive right now in the people in relationship to each other. In fact, I will often say, let's not even deal with what you want, the concrete things that we're arguing about. Let's not even deal with that until we have a human connection. So I first try to set the human connection, but that requires living in the now, not going into long stories about what happened and justifying and so forth. That gets into a kind of mediation I don't do, kind of a legal mediation to prove who's right. My mediations are to connect people in a human way so that they enjoy contributing to each other's well-being, so that they can see that you can't win at the other person's expense. And to have that work, I don't have to know anything about what happened in the past. I just have to know what's going on right now between the 2 of them in terms of what are their needs, how are they feeling. Yeah, some information will be important about the past. When we then get to the next step, after connecting them in a human way, after that, then I say, okay, now let's look for strategies to get everybody's needs met. That's usually the most boring part and the easiest part. And very often they've been arguing about that part for years, months. Spent lots and lots of money legally in other areas. I say, let's not even talk about what you want until we're first connected in a human way. So does that give you the information you were after?